All right, welcome to the December 6th meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission. Will the staff secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Alexander?
Here.
Commissioner Bridge?
Here.
Commissioner Esparza?
Here.
Commissioner Pollock-Cushing?
Here.
Commissioner Randolph?
Here.
Commissioner Shuchek?
Here.
Commissioner Stearns?
Here.
Commissioner Burnett?
Perfect. Next up, will Commissioner Burnett please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next up, public comments. Can the secretary please read the procedures for addressing the commission tonight?
Speakers have 3 minutes under public comment to speak on issues that are not listed on the agenda and are within the city's jurisdiction. The Brown Act does not permit any action or discussion on items not listed on the agenda.
All right. And so I'll now open public comment. And citizens addressing the commission during public comments are listened to 3 minutes, unless extended by the chair, and must be regarding items not listed on the agenda. All right. And the Brown Act does not permit any action or discussion on items not listed on the agenda, and no actions will be taken on items addressed under public comments. So do I have anyone that would like to speak? All right. Seeing none, we will close public comments. Next up, let's see, did we get the minutes on the agenda this time? We did, perfect. Okay. Approval of the minutes, so do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay. Did we have a second?
Second.
Perfect. Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Hi.
Any opposed? Motion. We'll move to requests and presentation. First up is 6.1, Youth Commission Member Appointment Recommendation with Kathy Barsotti.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here tonight to follow up on an agenda item from last month from the November Parks and Rec Commission. If you might remember, I presented to the Commission that the Youth Commissioner term is set to expire December 31st, 2021, and I had requested to have up to 2 commissioners participate in the interview process. And just as a reminder that the Youth Commissioner is a 1-year term, and qualified applicants can reapply for a second term. On November 9th, Commissioner Stearns and myself and the recording secretary, Christina McKee, interviewed 7 applicants. We had 9, but only 7 scheduled an interview. After a long deliberation, Tunvi Panchal emerged as the candidate being recommended for the position. Tunvi is currently a freshman at West Park High School. She has 2 years of student leadership experience and participates on 3 school clubs. Tunvi plans to bring a different perspective to the commission and make a positive impact in her community. I'd like to ask Commissioner Stearns to share his thoughts now.
Yeah, I think at this point a word of explanation would be appropriate. We have traditionally held our youth commissioner 10 years to a 1-year term. This year, our very able, exceptional youth commissioner, Leah, applied for a second term. And at first we thought, well, that'll be great. Leah would perform admirably in a second term. But then in our discussion, we felt our tradition of 1 year was the way to go because it gives more young people the experience of working for a public commission. And we want more young people involved with their community, not fewer. So much as we applaud Leah for her past year, that's what we decided to do. So tonight we have with us our next youth commissioner, Tunvi Panchal, and I hope I said that right. She comes from a group of 9 candidates we interviewed. Tunvi and several others being just exceptional candidates for the position. Tunvi being our standout for the job, it was a unanimous decision. And later this evening, we shall turn our attention to Leah and the excellent service she gave our commission and our community over the past year. But for now, we turn to Tanvi and welcome her to the Roseville Parks and Recreation Commission.
All right. Yes, so welcome, Tanvi. In just a second, did anyone want to say anything before I move on with?
Maybe perhaps Tanvi would like to.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna invite her up. Okay. So, Tanvi, did you want to come up and say anything?
Good evening, everyone. It's really an honor to talk to you right now and just be standing up here. And I just applied for this position so I could help our city and just do something as a citizen of the city. And I really hope that I can bring a new perspective and a new idea to this position. Thank you.
All right. Well, great. Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right.
This item is an action item, and so we have to forward this to council. So we're looking for the Parks and Rec Commission to approve moving this to council, and council will vote on all the youth commissioners at the next commission meeting. Council meeting, and Tanvi, should she be appointed, will start her first meeting at the February meeting of 2022.
All right, then first we need to do the public comments, so we'll open that up to public comment. And is there anyone that wanted to make a comment on it? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public comment on that item. And does anyone want to make a motion then?
Yeah, I'll move that we send this to the City Council with Tanvi as listed to approve to the City Council.
I will second.
Okay, thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Congratulations, Tanvi. Look forward to seeing you in February. Let's see. Next on the agenda is item 6.2, Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Year in Review presentation with Jill Geller.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Jill Geller, your Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Director. And it's my pleasure to share with you the department's 2021 year in review. And Tanvi and family, you all are welcome to leave at any time if you'd like, but you might want to stay, or sit with Kathy, whatever. But you might want to stay for a few minutes and see everything that this department accomplished over this past year. See a little bit what you're getting yourself into. So, of course, I have to begin this presentation by mentioning COVID-19, because we were in the midst of COVID when we started 2021. Staff is to be commended for their perseverance, creativity, and commitment to serving our residents as they worked diligently to provide services all throughout COVID. They developed virtual recreation programs, provided library sidewalk services, and placed an emphasis on safety in everything we did. When our facilities were open, they looked a bit different, with plexiglass barriers at front desks, between the public's computers at the library, and between each piece of cardio equipment at the sports center. But we continued to provide services. We continued the much-needed adventure club services, although our numbers were reduced due to the restrictions of the kids being in cohorts and limited space at our adventure clubs. And we had many public meetings that were held virtually, and we became very proficient and efficient at remote work and using Microsoft Teams. We engage the public often throughout the year. You can see on this slide the many public workshops and focus group opportunities offered in 2021. We invited the public to provide input into the master plan for 3 new parks. We held meetings to provide information about the Northwest LLD ballot issue, which unfortunately did not pass. If you all are aware of that, our November 17th ballot issue was not successful. But we also involved our residents in the development of our department's strategic master plan through both focus groups and a public meeting. We kept all of you busy this year as well, as 2021 was the year of the park dedication. 7 of them to be exact, and I think that might be a record. Although the parks had been open for some time, due to COVID, we couldn't bring the community together to celebrate their openings. So we were thrilled to have as many park dedications as we did in the months of June through October. I'm not going to list them all, but you can see them on your slide, and I think that you'll agree that the community was just as excited to come together for these events. Our attendance was outstanding. And we didn't just celebrate park openings. In August, we celebrated the 100th year for Johnson Pool. And in November, we had ribbon cuttings for two very cool park amenities, the fitness court at Maidu Park and the Kings basketball court at Royer Park. I'm proud to inform you that the opening of the Kings Court was recognized nationally in last week's National Recreation and Parks Association newsletter, so I will forward that to you so you can see that as well. We kicked off the post-COVID return of special events. Yay! Events started with the Mayor's Cup on May 7th. That event was sold out, and it was a huge success. Food truck dinners to go at Mahaney Park was introduced in June, and we resumed our food truck mania at Vernon Street Town Square shortly thereafter. We were happy to provide these two popular food truck events at two sites in 2021. In June, we resumed our monthly Friday flicks and concerts on the square. We're always thrilled to serve families in need through Operation Swim and had two very successful boutique nights there in June at Johnson Pool. The 4th of July was hugely popular this year with the 4th of July parade, festivities in Royer Park, and fireworks at the grounds. And both Splash and Family Fest were well attended in September, as was movie night sing-along at the square. The always popular Maidu Museum and Historic Sites monthly campfire events returned in September, followed by the sold-out floating pumpkin patch in October at the indoor pool. And now we're in holiday mode. The downtown holiday celebration kicked off with the Sylvia Bassana Holiday Parade, and last week we had thousands of people in Town Square for Tree Grove, the amazing Christmas tree lighting, and North Pole Tavern. Saturday's Breakfast with Santa was sold out, and this week's Grinchmas Stroll is also sold out. And Santa's back in Roseville again, traveling through 12 neighborhood routes, visiting 2 routes each night on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of both this week and next. We undertook several new initiatives this year as well. In early 2021, our department rebranded ourselves as PRL. I know you've seen our new and improved experience, PRL Magazine. This publication was very well received and now serves us more globally than just a recreation guide, as it features interest stories about park openings, our strategic master planning process, instructor highlights, and more. What's Happening in PRL was also introduced. This is our monthly video series, informing residents all about PRL's upcoming programs, events, and initiatives. The implementation of ActiveNet, our new recreation management software, is in and of itself a major accomplishment. This software completely guides the way we do business. Program registration, facility reservations, and point of sale are all handled through this new software. It was a huge undertaking for the staff who led this project, and the fact that you might not even know that this occurred is a testament to how smoothly that transition went. You've heard me say that in parks, recreation, and libraries, everything we do makes a healthier you. So to this end, we're excited to have kicked off a citywide health and wellness initiative called Be Well Roseville. We introduced this initiative with 5 Fitness in the Park programs during the months of September and October, and we held the Be Well Roseville kickoff event at Mahaney Park on October 9th. Focusing on physical exercise, good nutrition, and mind-body renewal, we look forward to supporting our residents' efforts to improve or maintain their health and wellness through our many offerings. Be Well Roseville bracelets, in case you don't have one, we'll get those for you, serve as a reminder for us to stay on this healthy path. And we continue work on our strategic master plan. We started this process in July, and much of this year has been focused on data collection. As I mentioned earlier, we've sought lots of input through public meetings and focus groups. We've also reached out to comparable agencies in California and throughout the U.S. to provide benchmarking data. A resident survey is currently on the streets, and we'll likely schedule a special Parks and Rec Commission meeting, perhaps late in January, so our consultant can provide you an update on this important project. We adapted to COVID, we introduced many new programs and initiatives, and we continued to do the important work that we do each day. This includes maintaining our 79 parks, 310 acres of streetscapes, and more than 4,000 acres of open space. We once again enlisted our favorite part-time staff, the goats, 4,500 of them to be exact. And in our commitment to protecting our environment and providing a safe and healthy community, our staff cleaned up 133 unsheltered encampments during this year. On the recreation and library side, we served more than 300,000 people in our programs and events. We've hosted more than 100,000 golf rounds at our golf courses. We've checked out approximately 700,000 library materials, served more than 1,200 children in our adventure clubs and preschools, provided swim lessons to more than 4,000 children and adults, and we've welcomed more than 1 million people into our facilities this year. So needless to say, 2021 was busy, but we have no intent of slowing down. In 2022, we look forward to 3 park openings at North Hayden Park, Four Corners Park, and F94 Park, which should be formally named in January per your recommendation from last month. Many parks will be under construction in 2022, including all those that you see on this map. That's a lot. And much work will be done on our existing parks and facilities, including improvements at the Rack Slide and Play Pool, the Royer Park play structures at Misty Wood Park, Kenwood Oaks Park, and Del Stevenson Park, shade added at Cambria Park and Hughes Park, and upgrades to Johnson Pool. Also in 2022, we'll be operating under a realigned org structure. For the past 2 years, our recreation and libraries divisions have been somewhat blended, and these divisions were called Customer Experience and Programs and Events. We're returning to the naming of our divisions as you see them on the slide: Parks, Recreation, Libraries and Culture, which will include the museum, and we also hope to be doing more in the way of culture and arts in the coming years, and Strategic Support, which is our Administrative Services division. We're hopeful this alignment will increase efficiencies even more, provide clear direction to staff, and maintain the great overall teamwork that already exists in our department. And we'll also be continuing to work on our strategic master plan with its completion and approval in the summer. So, a lot happened in 2021, and you can see that 2022 will be busy as well. We're proud that even in the midst of a pandemic, our department thrived and the community supported our efforts like never before. And you have supported us in so many ways over the past year. So please accept my sincere and heartfelt thanks on behalf of all of our Park and Recreation staff for your continued support. So this concludes this presentation, and I and staff stand for any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Jill. Nick, did you have any questions or comments?
Job well done.
Yeah, no, I just echo those words.
I was going to say the same thing. You guys did a phenomenal job this year, especially working under the confines of what you were working against. So thank you guys so much. It was a really great year. And the Christmas stuff this week was fantastic. It was so great to see so many people out together finally again. So.
Sure, yeah. I have a quick question on the Sacramento Kings court that we had the ceremony for. 2 questions. Basically, how many were there throughout the state that also had other parks where they had courts dedicated like that? And then how did we get it? How did we qualify for that?
Tara, do you know the number of how many?
There were actually 3 in Sacramento, and we were one of 2 art courts. So the third one was just a regular colored court refurbished, but we were able to, I don't know how they selected us, actually.
And they reached out to us to see if we had any interest for a King's Court here in Roseville. And as you know, we're trying to revitalize Royer Park, and we've got a new play structure coming there next year, and that court was in great need of refurbishing, so it was a perfect fit. So here it is in our signature park, and it's this beautiful court, so everything just kind of fell into place.
I was looking at your Parks, Recreation, and Libraries indicators of all of the programs and how the numbers have dramatically increased from 2020 to 2021. Boy, that's a testament to us having one good program in a lot of areas going on. That's phenomenal, just phenomenal.
And, you know, our 2020 numbers were a bit low because of COVID.
Sure.
But one thing that's really interesting to me is golf really picked up during COVID. And it's
Yes.
even higher this year. So, you know, I might have expected it to plateau or even go down a little bit, but those golf numbers are staying up there, which is great.
I'll just add my commendation to the staff. You guys have done a remarkable job over the last couple of years.
Yes, just definitely echoing that, and just it's remarkable to see how the youth programs almost doubled, actually exceedingly doubled, and just congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was sad I couldn't get out of my work day to go over to the King's Court opening. That was cool. And the fitness thing at Maidu that's pretty slick. I like that one. So I got to see that the other day at the the friends were doing their used book sale. I saw that. So let's see. Are we doing any public comment on this one with no action item? Okay, perfect. Next up is 6.3 Citywide Park Development. Tara?
I'm Tara G., your Park Planning and Development Superintendent. This item is a follow-up to an earlier request from the Commission to provide an overview of our Citywide Park Development Program. You've heard me say this before. For those who are new, citywide parks are placed geographically to allow fair access throughout the city. Citywide parks are also designed for a longer stay-and-play value where users can plan to visit all day if they so desired. These are the parks with high-end amenities that serve a wide variety of users and interests, can attract participants from anywhere within the city or the region, and can be a source of revenue for the city. These parks often are the places where tournaments are held, in addition to where you can find our community centers, libraries, and pools. The parks listed here are located throughout the city and are east of Fitiment Road. Most people are familiar with Maidu and Mahaney parks, and last year we were able to complete Crab and Central parks. The park at Gibson is on Gibson Drive and Roseville Parkway near the Galleria Mall, and parcels 2, 3, and 4, they're actually one big parcel, is located off of Roseville Parkway and Orvieto Drive in Stone Ridge. Citywide parks in West Roseville include Pistachio Regional Park, where we recently opened the first phase next to the new West Park High School, Denio Family Park off of Fitiment Road, and the Sports Complex off of Westbrook and adjacent to the wastewater treatment plant. One additional citywide park is located in the newly developing Sierra Vista specific plan area and is on the westernmost end. As with neighborhood parks, we collect citywide park development fees when building permits are pulled. That strategy is a tad different than the neighborhood parks. Since our larger parks serve the entire city, the fees are spread out through the entire city and not just one specific plan area related to the neighborhood parks. Every homeowner throughout the city has a contribution to the Citywide Park Fund. And again, in contrast with the neighborhood parks, those located within a certain plan area contribute to a certain set of neighborhood parks, which are not spread out through the city. So each plan area has their own set of neighborhood parks. And so if you move into West Roseville, for example, you would pay your park fee would go to the neighborhood parks in West Roseville. We would not be able to use West Roseville neighborhood parks in Stone Ridge as an example. So that's the difference between where and how we apply citywide park funds versus neighborhood park funds. Alternately, when we look at West Roseville and Sierra Vista, the development agreements stipulate that the citywide park fees generated within each specific area stays within that area. So any citywide park development fees collected in those two areas help build, for example, the West Roseville, Pistachio Regional Park, Denio Family Park, and a portion of the soccer complex. And the same goes with Sierra Vista. We cannot use funds generated in this area for other citywide parks except for the one reserved in Sierra Vista. Public outreach is similar to neighborhood parks, however, it is more intensive, meaning more outreach efforts, and it takes longer as we are casting a wider net and seeking input from potential users throughout the city. We use information provided by the needs assessment, especially where they have identified gaps, and we look at facilities that will generate revenue to offset maintenance. Because citywide parks offer a larger range of unique amenities and clusters of formal recreation opportunities, such as softball, baseball, and or soccer complexes, water features, pools, and more, costs to construct are very high. The Citywide Park Fund builds over time. However, the cost to construct features are in the millions. Therefore, citywide parks are often constructed in phases as funding is available. The Citywide Park Fund outside of West Roseville and Sierra Vista have been expended. The completion of Crab and Central Parks utilized the majority of that fund balance. The parks left to be funded through the General Citywide Park Fund are future phases of the park at the site at Gibson and improvements at Stone Ridge 2, 3, and 4. These two parks are denoted in black text on the slide. Currently under design is a first phase of the park at Gibson, and we're focusing on lighted pickleball. Denio Family Park, hoping to build this park with the disc golf, fenced dog park, bike trails, and supporting features such as parking, restrooms, and shaded picnic, and the soccer complex, 8 or so fields, and a universally accessible playground with support features. Again, restrooms, large picnic areas, parking, and et cetera. While these are under design, additional funding will be needed to build Denio and future phases of Pistachio Regional, and of course the soccer complex. These three are within the West Roseville specific plan, and while fees are still being paid through ongoing permits, the soccer complex wasn't, to the extent that we're looking at now, was not included in the original financing plan. For the future, we intend to have a light hand on Stone Ridge 2, 3, and 4, unless needs change. With that site, we'd have a focus on bike trail connections. That is, if you're familiar with the Miners Ravine Trail off of Orvieto and Roseville Parkway, it has a gravel parking lot and is used as a trailhead for some of those trails. So that's Stone Ridge 2, 3, and 4, a very, very beautiful, large site. Sierra Vista will also have a much longer time frame as well, since it will rely on infrastructure to be available in order to build. So how are we addressing some of the funding challenges for our citywide parks left to be built? Unfortunately, it will take time and is dependent on the progress of the new plan areas. Westbrook, which is part of Sierra Vista, will contribute citywide park development funds towards the citywide park in Sierra Vista. However, since they did not set aside additional land for citywide park, they will pay a park in lieu of land fee. And that fee can be used on any citywide park, so it can be applied wherever there's a shortfall. Both Creekview and Amoruso Ranch, you'll see there at the top of the screen, are newly developing areas. As both are smaller areas, both will not be required to set aside land, or we're not, because we already approved that. We're not setting aside citywide park, and will rely on the services or the citywide parks located in West Roseville and Sierra Vista. So for these two developments, they will also pay a citywide in lieu of land fee and a citywide park development fee, which can also be applied wherever we have a shortfall. These two developments are just breaking ground. They are building roadways and infrastructure as we speak. So these parks have not yet, citywide park fees have not yet started to be collected. While revenues are slowly coming in from new developments west of Fitiment, we should note that fees generated from developments east of Fitiment are trickling in because most of those areas are already built out. With restrictions with the West Roseville and Sierra Vista plan areas, it may take 10 or more years for new funding to supplement the general citywide park fund for Gibson and again Stone Ridge 2, 3, and 4. This is only a guess, and we rely on the health of the home sale economy, and it will either help us move quickly or it may slow down and the fund will build slowly. So again, this is an information item. No action is being requested. This concludes my presentation, and I stand ready to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Tara. Leah, this time, any questions, comments?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
You good? I have a quick question on the soccer field, just because I got two soccer players at home. I think you said the planning for it is still like pending or not moving forward, right?
We are in the process of developing a concept plan, master plan. We are just again, looking at different scenarios. We just went to council last week. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. Time flies. To look at an additional 20 acres to expand the area. So that was approved, and so we're working with the land sale of that purchase and CEQA for, an 8 or so field complex. So we're, again, at the very beginning. We have not presented anything to you as yet because we don't really have anything to present except for, we're hoping to get 8 to 10 fields out of that.
So it still could be a couple years out or something like that?
We're hopeful that we can break ground in the spring of 2024.
Okay.
I think you mentioned it, you just said it was by the wastewater treatment plant.
Yes.
Is that going to be an issue in the summer when it's like those 110-degree days and kids are out playing soccer? And I know there's not that many days where the smell, I think, kind of trickles away, but I'm in West Park, so I'm aware of like those few days when that happens and everybody kind of posting on Facebook that, does anybody smell that smell today and all that.
You're right. There's absolutely several or handful or less days where you do smell the effects of the wastewater treatment plant. From a public safety standpoint, there's no issue with that. From a public comfort level, perhaps it does affect people. So we will just have to see how that goes, and our recommendation is to stand upwind.
I like it. Yeah, I don't know how bad it really is. I've never, experienced it myself, but I just know that people complain about that issue, so.
All right.
Just on the soccer field, are they going to do any more sessions? What was it, maybe 2 years ago? Maybe it was that when we had those some of the planning design sessions that were going on. Are they going to reconvene with those as it moves forward?
Yeah, we will. What you're referring to is several years ago, we were partnering with Placer Valley Tourism.
That's right.
And so they have since moved on to building the grounds. And so rather than have the partnership for the Longfield complex and the grounds haven't been built, so we are doing the soccer complex. So once we have a couple layouts that we feel comfortable with, then we will begin some public outreach.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tara. As we discussed this before, my concern has been for the two older parks on the east side of town and whether there was sufficient cash flow and enough remaining dwelling units out there to fund the construction of these. It sounds like we do, but it's on a little longer schedule. So I guess the question I have relative to cash flow, are there any grants for park development that we might be able to tap to get these two parks open? I'm aging myself now, but these are two specific plans that I've been involved in, and me personally would like to see it complete.
Yeah, we would too. There are some potential grants, and we're always looking for that. For example, if we were to have a light touch on Stone Ridge 2, 3, and 4, there are some trail grants that are issued by the state Parks and Recreation. So there's some of those. So far as some of the others, we constantly are working with our legislative representative, seeking additional funding opportunities. One of the things that we've been pushing is that parks should be considered infrastructure, and it is. So not only one-time capital investment, but also rehabilitation and replacement. So in those three aspects, we're working quite hand in hand with our legislative representative, our staff person, to try to look for grants and also see if there's other new legislation that can be applied.
Yeah, and with regard to Stone Ridge, is there any, we can do any field space out there in that lower level?
Originally we thought that we would. If you look at the Stone Ridge specific plan, it shows quite intensive development there. Given the status of our fund balance, that doesn't seem possible. And also, we have had lots of feedback from the residents who live around there, and it's a beautiful space, and it's quite large. And so, we want to be sensitive to what they've become accustomed to, which is a beautiful open space with trails. And so enhancing that seems to be the right approach at this moment. Now, things may change in the future, but that's what it looks like
that
now.
thing for you.
I know. And the beavers have taken over.
Yeah.
I would definitely attest to Stone Ridge residents. I am a Stone Ridge resident. My parents, it definitely increases the houses. We have neighbors who have particularly bought it next to ours for the purpose of having the view, being next to the trail, having those areas. They have young children. They like that they have wildlife in their backyards. Definitely attest to the fact that we've had some wildlife in our backyard and snakes, skunks. It's the works back there, but it's really definitely one of the highlights of the Stone Ridge area, that natural space, and just riding the bike trail. It's beautiful out there.
Yeah, just like I say, see if we can perhaps tap some. I mean, there's a lot of federal money out there. I mean, we should be able to get our fair share, and that one space on Stone Ridge 2, it does kind of sit down. It's away from the trees, so I think to the extent that if it can be used for some active space, if you think about it, other than. There's not a whole lot of soccer fields out there or active space out there. We did a lot of, as I recall, passive space in Stone Ridge and the Northeast Plan.
Thank you.
All right. So if you can find a few $1 million, you can pull a rabbit out of your hat. But again, the reason why I was concerned about this was cash flow and the number of remaining dwelling units to generate fees are probably on the lower end.
Right.
The new soccer complex, is it going to be 8 straight soccer fields, or can they be repurposed for other field use? Or is soccer, are those the fields that we're lacking the most in? Is there, do we have enough baseball diamonds and things like that across the basketball courts and stuff like that? I know you try to balance it park by park, but
yeah, we do try to balance it all. Right now, we're doing an analysis through our strategic master plan, and included in that is a sports tourism strategy. And so we're doing an inventory right now, and the inventory will count the 8, at least 8, maybe 10, to see if that is supportive so far as an asset and gap that we need. In our 2013 needs assessment, it was identified that our long fields were lacking, especially when you look at what we can play on and what we use for practice. And sometimes they're 2 different fields in 2 different locations. And the hope is that in some cases where we're using fields that weren't necessarily, or turf that wasn't necessarily designed for fields, that we can take that play out of the neighborhoods and into an appropriate location. To answer your question about how much flexibility are we looking at? Well, we're looking at maximizing that flexibility. So we could have lacrosse overlays if we can play that. We can play, if we design for 8 regulation size fields, we could double it up for the youth. And so we're looking at how we can maximize the space that we have with the investment that we will make.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tara. Great update. Moving on to item 6.4, recognition of Youth Commissioner Jill Geller.
Thank you. I'm going to kick this one off. So, Leah, on behalf of the Parks and Recreation Commission, the City of Roseville, and the Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Department, we would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your service as a Parks and Rec Commissioner representing Roseville's youth. Leah began her term in January of this year, as you know, and we were so privileged to have her as a youth commissioner during this unprecedented year. She's been engaged and involved in all of our meetings, always asking great questions, never hesitated to provide your ideas or opinions, and that's exactly what we hope for from a youth commissioner. During her term, Leah was instrumental, as were all of you, in the progress or completion of several parks. Remember all those dedications and celebrations I mentioned earlier in the meeting? Well, Leah was at most all of them. Leah, you should always feel proud that you oversaw the completion and the dedication of Harry Crabb Park, Central Park, Pistachio Park, Rakuchi Park, John L. Sullivan Park, R.G. Phillips Park, Jim Gray Park, and we've completed North Hayden Park during your tenure, though that won't be dedicated until next year. Not a lot of youth commissioners have that on their resume. You also approved the park design and master plans for W50D. These numbers mean nothing to you perhaps now, but someday they will have names attached to them. JM50 School Park, CO62 at Campus Oaks, CO64, HP at the Citywide Park, F51 School Park, and WB50 School Park. And you know, knowing you, those numbers probably all do mean something. And you're going, oh yes, I know exactly where that is. Along with her fellow commissioners, Leah was truly dedicated to improving Roseville's parks, facilities, programs, and services. So, Leah, thank you for your service over this past year. You have provided a youth perspective to our decision-making process, which is so important to assure that we provide well-rounded programs. So, the City of Roseville and the Parks and Recreation Commission wish you good luck with your future endeavors, and I know that our commissioners might like to make some comments as well. Roy, I know you have been involved in this process over the past couple months, so I'll turn it to you first if you'd like to make a few comments.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess we're at the part of the meeting where we must give a send-off to our youth commissioner, and I say send-off instead of goodbye because I think goodbye is too final, and I think we're going to be hearing about her in some capacity with the City of Roseville in the future. She's been excellent, exceptional, one of the best, participating in meetings, everything you said, Jill. She hasn't been shy. She knew the issue. She did her homework. She read the agenda. She attended park dedications, a standout. I think we were lucky to have her, and so we send you off with our indebted thanks for having a good one-year term. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Nick, did you want to?
Sure. Leah, outstanding job. Just remember one thing, you can still participate in a meeting right over there. So if you think that we're not doing something correctly, please let us know. And you know what Jill mentioned, all those facts, you're going to be going off to college here probably in the next couple of years. Make sure you use that in your admissions application because that makes a big difference. From somebody who was involved at the University of California with regard to admissions, you'll be surprised at what those readers read and what stands out. So make sure you use all those facts in your application for college and your future endeavors.
Thank you.
I mean, it's all been said, but I definitely want to thank you, congratulate you, and, you know, as a person who participates in government, you know, as a volunteer for the city in which I love, but also is employed in government as my full-time job is something that I love. You know, I say you take this experience, this puts you ahead of a lot of people. You know, you take this experience, you share it, you know, maybe it is the passion when you go off to school, you know, and always come back to Roseville and help continue to make this city as great as it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, Leah, you're gonna be successful in your future no matter what you do, and I think this experience gave you a little bit more of a worldly view on top of everything else, and you're just gonna take that and use that, and you're gonna fly and you're gonna soar. And please stay in touch with the commission. I'm sure you're going to be at the park dedications in 2022 while you're, you know, going into your next year of high school. You've showed the same passion that you have about your dance, about the commission, and about pretty much everything you do revolving the commission too has had that reflected the passion that you have in life for all of your activities and everything you're involved in, and you never made a commitment that you never fell through on. So at your age, you are wise beyond your years, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. So we really appreciate everything you did for us this year.
Hard to follow some of that, but I just gotta kind of say ditto on a lot of it, and it's been. I'll just remember the great times meeting up with you at some of the park dedications where we're looking around and there's lots of other people we don't know, but we know each other, so we kind of band together and go through that process together. So that was fun, and best of luck to you in the future.
Yeah.
So I actually sat in on the interview sessions the year that Leah was selected. And I think it's fair to say that the passion and the energy and the drive that she showed during those interviews, and which made us select her, has definitely come to pass in all of the meetings and everything. So thank you for that, and never lose that.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. I really, truly do appreciate this opportunity. It has been so meaningful. I've learned so much, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I get to say something too, but a lot of it's already been said. But yeah, I in the 5 years I've been here, you've probably been the most engaged of our youth commissioners, and the passion and your maturity is outstanding. So we've been lucky to have you for the last year. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any? Oh,
I
Jill.
moved. Yes,
Yay.
before we conclude this item, I'd like to call Leah up to the podium and present her a little something. You have a pretty big fan club here, as you can tell. So we are happy to present you with this plaque that says, "Presented to Leah Burnett in appreciation of your dedicated service to the City of Roseville Parks and Rec Commission 2021.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Again, this has been truly meaningful. I can't express it enough. I mean, I really do like the gavel. I do hope to go on to receive my BA in public health and hopefully public policy as a minor, or biology and environmental studies is another one of my passions. I am truly interested in continuing my role in government. I have been talking with some of the city about starting a citywide internship, so I might be around in the future if it does come to pass with different people. I'm so just grateful for this opportunity. It has truly expanded my worldview in understanding governmental procedures, creating interpersonal connections. I have met Pauline Rakucci. I have met the mayor. I have met so many amazing people. I've met all of you. And just learning from you guys is so important. I've heard so many things in these meetings that I'm like, what is that? I really should go home and Google that. And I have. I mean, I always remember the TO tax. I'm like, I gotta write that one down, guys. Like, it's just been truly meaningful, and I truly do appreciate it. Thank you for picking me as your youth commissioner this last year. I will be writing on my college applications. It has been one of my favorite things I have done in high school. I've had so many opportunities in high school. I am a California decoy, so I go and do compliance checks for the state government as an undercover agent. That's been really entertaining, and I've also learned through them as well, but this has truly been one of my biggest experiences. Thank you so much.
He's even good at her acceptance speeches. So I think that, I believe, our last item then is the board member, commissioner, and staff reports. Staff, do we have anything tonight?
So not too much of a staff report. Do any of you have anything?
No, I was going to mention all the event things, and Jill covered that beautifully in her presentation, so I'm not going to repeat it.
Yeah, I think we've said it all tonight, but as you are aware, this is Kathy Barsotti's last commission meeting, so must recognize her for all of her years of service and so many lives that she touched and made a difference in our community. And I know that's not over. You're going to probably be out in the seats and listening as a resident and volunteering and doing all of those things.
It's going, nah.
You'll be running it from the seats.
And I'm very happy to introduce Jeff Nearson, who you may or may not know, who was our PRL superintendent, who is now, I guess officially, the new Parks, Recreation, and Libraries manager, Jeff Nearson. please say a few things.
I just wanted to say thank you to the commission, and it's just been so great to work with all of you. And even with I'm the liaison for the senior commission. Well, now Jeff is, but and even working with the council, but working with all of you and all the great things that you guys do. So I just wanted to say thank you, and continue the good work. And I will be watching from my TV screen at home, and I'll be happy to call in periodically and give my opinion about things, because I'm not really great about keeping my mouth shut. So, but thank you so much, and thanks for just all the hard work that you guys do on behalf of the community and everything. So I will miss you all.
Feel free to yell at your screen if necessary.
Better. I know you. I know better.
Congratulations, Kathy. Thank you for all you've done for the city.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Staff, as we conclude the year, we want to thank all of you for your hard work this year, and there is a small token of our appreciation at your seat, but thank you all so much for all you do for us.
Thank you, Jill. And congratulations, Jeff, on the
Thank you.
Jeff, some big shoes to fill there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Jeff, yeah, excellent.
All right.
Welcome, welcome.
So did the commission have any parting comments? No.
Just again, thank you for everything. I really hope to see you again.
We'll be really, really sad to not have you here each month. But again, welcome, Jeff. We look forward to working with you.
Goodbye, Kathy. Welcome, Jeff.
Yeah, same thing. Same exact thing.
We're going to miss both of you. I feel like you guys need a standing ovation. You had a long career of service to Roseville, and I know probably being one of the newer people, or the newest of the people that moved to Roseville, this city wouldn't have been the same without everybody on the Parks and Rec staff that has made it what it is now. So thank you so much. You're going to be missed. And Leah, you're going to be missed as well.
Thank you.
Miss Kathy, congratulations, colleague, friend, you've earned every bit of this, and, totally appreciate you. And I can already see you now watching the TV, maybe a little crank call every now and then, keep us on our toes. But you enjoy every minute that you've earned of this. Congratulations.
Well, when I heard, I said, say it isn't so.
I said it too.
But I think my first year, you were here when my first year on the commission. That was a while ago. So best of luck in your future endeavors. And then, Jeff, you got some pretty big shoes to fill.
I am aware. Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. And I guess as far as updates, so I didn't go to the tree lighting, but I did do the tree grove, and Sandra and Regina were there judging the trees. That seemed like a great night. I cut out before they did the presentations of the awards, but it seemed to be a very well attended. And then Friday night at North Pole Tavern, I think that was the largest attendance for that. Yeah, that seemed great. You just need to get another a beer vendor in there. was the only comment that.
Well, the largest attendance we'd ever had is 150.
Yeah.
So this last one was 550. So
Okay.
that would have been very difficult to anticipate.
Well, no, that was great.
I think at the tree lighting also, the more food trucks next year, they were struggling with the crowd, I think.
Did we not have a turkey trot?
We had a turkey trot. Jeff is the race director for the turkey trot. So do you want to share a couple comments about that?
Yeah. So certainly going into this year, we had no idea what to expect with registrations, right? We 2020, we did a virtual. I think we had 500 people participate in a virtual run. So going into this year, we were just hoping, to have a modest turnout, just to kind of get back to in person. And we had over 2,500 registrations, which is the third largest, since that, this was our 9th year. So we were very pleased with the turnout. For those of you that were there, I don't remember seeing any of you guys running, but the weather was gorgeous, beautiful day. Everybody was really happy just to kind of get back to what we used to do, and so yeah, very happy, very pleased. And at the end of the day, it turned out fantastic. So, and I do have to recognize Commissioner Alexander's wife and daughters have been volunteering for that run for probably the last 9 years, and so it's always great to see them. I turn it over to them and let them really run the packet pickup piece because they know it, and quite frankly, they kind of do it their own way. They've been a huge help over the last 9 years, and so it's reassuring to know when they show up to go. That's one less thing I have to worry about. So.
They get it. Twins came back from San Diego State wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess before we adjourn, just so everyone and their families, I hope you guys have a good holidays and New Year, and we'll be seeing you probably in February.
Our next meeting will be in February, although our next regular meeting will be in February. Like I said, we may try to schedule a special meeting when our consultant's in town for the strategic master plan. We'll give you plenty of notice for that.
All right, okay. Great. Right, then do I have unless anyone has anything else?
Do it.
What's that?
I think Leah should do the motion.
I like that idea.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Well, thank you very much. All in favor of adjourning? Aye. All right. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.